So today I'm actually gonna go back to not the beginning, I guess, but gonna go back to some of my um, personal trigger spots, if you will, and some of the ways that we've kind of had to deal with them as a family. Personally, my feet and calves especially always feel like they're going to cramp. I'm in a constant state of wonderment if my calf is going to cramp. It's a very bizarre sensation, and I'm not sure entirely why that is. I mean, I suppose on some level we either calf for almost everything, but so whether I was working, especially during yoga, because my feet do sometimes cramp during yoga. Um, uh, so I have to be careful when I do yoga not to do too much, or to just be cognizant of the fact that something might cramp during the session. The recumbent bike, not so much. Other hot spots for me is my right shoulder and my right tricep. Again, I'm assuming it's because I'm right-handed and I'm not positive. But there have been moments where I have been leaning over to tuck the kids in and I have just frozen solid. For lack of a better expression, my back just tightens up and I have to just kind of either physically have my husband move me, or I have to wait for it to relax. Sometimes my shoulder doesn't like to relax. I can usually massage a calf muscle or a foot cramp out. The shoulder one doesn't always like to be massaged out. Sometimes massaging it actually makes it worse. So I tend to try to let it relax on its own. So my lower back and my hips are another sensitive area. Before Botox, I basically walked around feeling like I was pregnant all the time because my back was constantly achy and sore and would spasm at different times during the day. The Botox has helped take the edge off of that for the most part, but it's still there with a little bit of regularity. Hands, I think we talked about my hands a little bit. And then the biggest thing probably is my stomach. The low motility seems to cause a lot of stomach distress, stomach cramps. And I mean intense cramps, like I have to bend over. I feel like I'm going to physically have to bend over to stop them, and then that doesn't even stop them. I have to breathe through them, and then when they're gone, I can stand back up. So that's kind of a sensation that I have with the stomach. In terms of things that the family has had to deal with, my husband's had to help me out a few times with my back. Like I said, I've gotten stuck a few different times. One time was actually accidentally. I can only eat so much, or I can't keep it down. My stomach has gotten to the point that it will shut off, for lack of a better word, if I have eaten too much, and it will come back up. I learned that on a cruise. So that's good and bad. I have to be very careful, but I've gotten locked up throwing up as well when there was nobody in the bathroom and I just had to wait it out. There was a Super Bowl Sunday that my foot cramped so bad that I couldn't even touch it. There was no touching it. There was no massaging it out. We finally got a heating pad and wrapped around it, and it took about 15 minutes for the cramp to relax itself. The situation with the children that I can think of is my husband was working a night shift and my stomach started cramping so bad that I couldn't move. Basically, I had to lie down. They had to get me one of my medications and they had to get me a heating pad. That's all stuff that just builds, I think, in our children. And when you have something that you can't really explain to other people because you don't even know how to explain it to yourself, one in a million weird oddity, it's extraordinarily hard. I think was on my kids and still is. I actually think I was saying to my sister this morning, this blindness might actually be a benefit in the terms of people just being like, oh, that's Liz mom, she can't see. You know what I mean? Instead of it being, oh, that's her mom, she's got some weird thing going on, and we just ignore her. I don't know. But anyways, she had a rough couple of days at school, and people have a tendency, I think, to always think that there's something else that's behind why you might be upset, which is unfair. Everybody judges. It is what it is. We all judge. We judge a customer on, their income or their intentions or lots of things. We judge. Everybody's judging, or we can't all pretend that we're not. We can try to be not judgmental, but we can not say that we're not, in my opinion. So she was having a rough couple days, and everybody kept asking her, or trying to help, but by trying to help in a weird way, they were making it worse for her. And there's one of her teachers in particular knows me and had kind of known the situation. We hadn't really gone public with it at the school level or at the town level or anything like that yet. And all he said to her was, "Lily, if you need 5 minutes, you can take it." That's it. That's all I said. And he let her walk to class, and they continued class, and she came home and said, "The best part of my day was when I'm not going to call him out, but I someday do need to give him a hug because he changed the course of how we dealt with the rest of her freshman year. Up until that point, being in junior high hadn't really affected it much, or I hadn't affected her much at school." So this teacher said one sentence, and it changed her entire day. So we decided at that point that we were going to reach out to the counselors and let the counselors know, and the counselor then let the teachers know that there was stuff going on, and that if Lily needed 5 minutes, she was just going to take 5 minutes and go down and sit in the counselor's office. So this is a thank you to not just teachers, because every profession has good people and bad people. There's good pharmacists, there's bad pharmacists. There's good teachers and there's bad teachers. There's good people and there's bad people. That's just the way the world works. But this particular teacher looked at her and could tell something was going on, and said one simple sentence that changed her entire day. And if I could shout out to all the teachers that take the time to notice that maybe something is going on with a particular child, and they decide to make a difference by making one statement, then I would like to give you a virtual hug, because sometimes it's the small things that make the biggest difference in people's lives. So this is my teacher shout out. I might repost this so maybe some other people can share it. So those are my specific trigger areas, I guess, and then how we kind of had to start spreading it around town. I did notify my boss that I was going to let the school know. So eventually it was going to start getting leaked out there that there was something going on. But at this point, there was no preventing the knowledge from happening. People were seeing it unfold in front of their eyes. Today, your job is to go hug a teacher. Yesterday was a family member, today's a teacher.